Even looking at YouTubers, and I just don't understand the people that don't need YouTube to be rich. They don't need YouTube to send a voice. Her parents are millionaires, and yet she seems to have a YouTube channel, and it has to be successful. Just like, I can name 13 names right now of people and that I've met some that they don't even need it. They lived. I know one YouTuber, she has a house in Naples, and they actually sold that one and got another house. It was 1.3 million. They have a yacht, they have boats, they have 60, 80. Well, now because I was back in 2015, 2014. Now it's like 60,000, but now because they keep buying every year, it's like 80,000 dollar vehicles. That's just one. They have four of them, and that's just for their house. And then they have two more. Their kids have two more, and all that. But that's what I look at, and I'm thinking. So if you're like, I wouldn't go around if my mom and dad put me up somewhere, which is gonna happen because kids like this, they get everything. You think any of these YouTubers worked for their car? Nah. It was given some way, somehow. Their grandfather passed away, gave them their old beat up truck. It's always that story. Give them their nice Lexus. Grandma couldn't drive no more. Had to give them the granddaughter a brand new Lexus. All this stuff that I'm looking at. It's like, wow, geez. You know what I mean? You live this luxury life where you never have to, with basically a silver spoon dadgum thrown in your face. And instead of taking advantage of it, you make YouTube videos and then complain about your life, about how this and that. And it's like, your problems. Your problems? Are you kidding me right now? And another thing that I got into it with this one girl on here, that it's like, oh, well, just because my parents have money, that doesn't have to do with mental illness. I said, well, what about the people that do have mental illness and that are poor or homeless? What about them? You guys never think about them. You're not going to help them. You can't even help yourself because you got your mind on something else that's so far away. You're not even realizing that this is not going to last. What, you die when you're 20? You die when you're 40? You die when you're 60? This money's not going to last for you. Sooner or later, it's going to go. And it's not about the money. You keep thinking it's about the money. It's just the life of quality. If you're making $1 million, 10 million, 300 million a year, hello, people, pay your bills. Do what you need to do. Think about others. And it's not about people's success and if they would do this. There are people out there that you can help their life, as in, look at, like Steve Jobs once said. He said, no, I would never give my kids or any member or any friend or any organization money just to give it to them. No, I'm not going to do that. But I will give you money if it's set as in a goal for yourself to better yourself. So I'm just going to use one example, but you can use that in every example of life. Instead of wanting to do it, no one's going to make you run your 1 mile. You can't cheat the 1 mile. You have to either walk or run that mile, but no one can do it for you. And the more that I thought about it, I was like, can we go deeper than that, right? Because it's an issue. It's an issue not just in America, it's an issue everywhere. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? If it's not about if it's not about spreading the wealth. I'm not talking about hand this guy a check because this and that. No. But you can take the stepping stones to see what their ambitions are. Because there are people now, if they don't and they don't want to do the work, no, leave them there. That's the life that they can change, but they didn't want to change. Now I understand that for sure, 100%. If you're not willing to do the work, because it takes a lot. And if you're lazy and a loser, you're just on drugs, you're drinking all the time, maybe you need help with that stuff. But if you're just wanting just excuse after excuse, oh, well, this and that, but what are you doing? You said you have 3 kids, but you don't work. You said you're suffering. But how? If you're living off of government, they're giving you all this welfare, food stamps, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're just lazy. You don't even mow your own yard. Don't even wash your own dishes. Your mom does it. Now, something like at that point, when you can sleep all day, stay up and watch TV all night, no. Of course not. They deserve what they get, right? Of course. But I'm talking about the people that... I'll just use this one example. And this person needed money, right? And instead of giving them money, which they could have given them $20,000, $50,000, and they said this, you know what? I'm going to pay your school the first semester, the first year, and if you complete the classes and pass them, don't have to make A's and B's, but just try to, but just pass. And that person, of course, they wanted it. So instead of spending that $20,000, that $50,000, it went to their education. And of course, they ended up finishing. After they finished, now they're making $80,000 a year. And just living life to the fullest. Before, when they were struggling, working at making a certain amount of money that's lower, they were still working. But you see that work ethic, you see that background. They were always working, even when they asked for help. They were doing their thing. They just need a little help. But that changed their life, made it easier. But it's still hard, because just because they didn't have to work as much, they still have to make those grades. They have to pay for it. But that's all it takes sometimes, is to take that one little problem that's a big problem, but maybe not for someone else, right? And they take that little nudge out, and it just changed their entire life. And I look at YouTubers that complain, and each of these people are making millions of dollars a year. All 10,000 of them, 100,000 people out there making $1 million a year for nothing. To go on a trip and complain about being on a trip when you're there. If you didn't want to take the trip, don't go. You could have done something else with that. You could have helped someone. But it's always about selfishness with YouTubers. It's always about me. It's always a challenge about themselves. It's always about selfishness. It's always about greed. No wonder the world is like how it is. Because you're seeking help through the wrong people, and then the people that you're looking for help are corrupt. They can't even help themselves because they don't even know what they want.